everybody, and welcome to a Thursday edition of Hawk Talk, the second to last Thursday edition of Hawk Talk. I know, very, very sad, but we're here, we're doing it, and we're joined by Danny from the sports journalism class today, so thank you for joining us, Danny. Sure. And as always, we have Alex, Zach, Mason, and Colin here today, and we have a very fun show because after Danny's segment and after our Obscure Sports segment, we have an NFL Round 1 mock draft coming your way. Full Round 1 mock draft because the NFL draft is just a few hours away, believe it or not, gentlemen. Just a few hours now. So we are ready, and we're going to give our prediction before the draft takes place tonight. But first, the Obscure Sports segment. Here we go. Before we do, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Forgot to ask.
We're doing great. And Nolan, it's a special day for you, isn't it?
It is. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Nolan.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Spankings.
We're not
I
committed.
appreciate
No, we're
it.
not committing.
We're not committing to
We're
the
not
bit.
committing. We were going to sing happy birthday.
We
but
all said we were going
That's
to
okay.
I didn't agree to
That-
that.
Mason said he
that's-
was going to start
You know,
singing.
Well, he
and
took
just
too long with
agreed
the
booze.
intro.
It's okay. I appreciate the birthday wishes.
Also,
I appreciate the
I don't know
birthday
how good we
wishes.
are at singing, so.
Yeah.
I just like
I don't want everybody's gonna tune out if you start singing happy. Everybody starts singing happy birthday. No offense to anybody singing.
I think the
but-
ratings are going to go crazy if
You
I
think
start
so?
singing.
Yeah.
Probably.
You haven't seen my pipes yet.
All right. So, on that note, thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here and happy to be watching the draft today. But first, let's get into our Obscure Sports segment because we have a fun one. It is car curling. And for those of you who don't even know what curling is a sport where you roll the puck down the ice, then you have two like brooms essentially, and you I don't know the official terms, and I'm sure anybody who's a big fan of curling, there is somebody here who works here that is a big fan of curling who will probably get mad at me for not knowing the exact terms, but basically car curling is exactly like the Olympic sport of curling, except instead of a puck you have a car. You roll a car down the thing, and it took place in Russia. There was an official car curling tournament where they basically have a car in neutral. They have like 4 people running down the ice and pushing the car, and you just try to get the car as close as possible to the center there. So, did anybody look this up? Anybody? What do we think of car curling? Anybody see some cool videos on it?
I thought curling was already just an unnecessary sport.
Oh, you're gonna get some hate for that one.
That's fine. Until I saw car curling, like just drive it. You know, you don't have to do all that.
It's crazy.
All that nonsense. I personally wouldn't play it. Wouldn't even maybe with somebody else's car, not my own.
Well, I mean, see, that's the thing is you have to have red and blue cars because you have to
I
like
don't think
decipher
they're
the
using
teams.
people's personal cars.
Yeah.
Well, they were somebody's personal car at one point, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
5 years
They
ago.
were designated specifically for car curling competitions, from what I've heard.
Is there like a certain make, model, and like weight they have to be, or is it just?
Yeah, what if I
They
get a
could wait
super
to the-
aerodynamic
Yeah,
I mean, most
car?
of them looked kind of like
Yeah, they were beater cars.
like bugs almost, like not exactly PT Cruisers, but they were like small cars. Like they're not rolling down like a truck or nothing down the ice. But
Ford
cool.
Raptor.
yeah,
I know people don't like Kia Souls, but I feel like that would.
oh, that would be
Absolutely.
awesome. I hate Kia Souls. No offense to anybody who drives a Kia Soul, but
A Hummer stretch.
yeah. But I mean, this would be a fun sport. I think to participate in. I think that car curling is, again, as long as it's not my own car, by all means, I'm one of the ones pushing it. It does seem like it's a lot harder to like stay up on the ice though. There's a lot of people
Yeah,
slipping.
just falling.
Yeah.
I think they should replace real curling with this. I think it would
This
get
should
way
be
more
the
viewership
Olympic
if
sport.
This was in
Love
the
it.
Olympics. People are pushing cars around on ice.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people watch
I'm on
Olympic
board.
curling?
I'm on board. Curling is actually a very
I mean, it's in the Olympics, man.
it's
I
a
know.
good sport.
It's
I think curling is a fun sport, and I don't know. I always
But if it was car curling,
no, yeah. I mean, if it was car curling,
I think that's an easy way to double your
it would probably be a little more exciting. I mean, we're not gonna lie. Like, it would also be cool if they like try to like smash it as hard as they could. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we didn't just see these little like taps on the other cars or nothing. I don't know, but I guess that's kind of that's kind of what makes it tough and the challenge. So, car curling, look it up. Our last obscure sport on the Thursday show of Hawk Talk. And we got an abbreviated segment because we need all the time we can get to the mock draft. But first, we have Danny from Sports Journalism again. Thank you for joining us, Danny. And you have brought us a topic on the MLB as the season is in full swing and the overreactions that have come with it. So without further ado, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. All right, it's called Are We Really Overreacting, or Is That Just Baseball? Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, David Robinson, Edwin Diaz, and Brandon Nimmo all sign large contracts. Francisco Lindor is fully healthy. Pete Alonso headlines NL MVP prediction voting. Diaz looks like he could win Cy Young this year coming out of the pen. Everything is clicking again in New York. 2022 could be our year, bounced around in the heads of the passionate yet somewhat hollowed minds of Queens dwellers. Did the New York faithful win the pennant? Not even close. This all but guarantee of an NL East juggernaut destined for greatness through Steve Cohen's pocketbook sat just 42 and 48 through the All-Star break. Of course, this prompted the disgruntled owner to ship off their prized pigs to the respective likes of Houston and Arlington. Why was seemingly every analyst and fan so far off of reality? Could it be the fact that the Mets signed arguably the two greatest pitchers of our generation to the same team? Maybe. I'd likely be more confident attributing these failed aspirations of greatness to an all-too-familiar foe for baseball fans, overreacting. It seems like this peculiar phenomenon is embedded within all professional sports, but there's something about the haunting of it in baseball that digs a little bit deeper. Now that we're a couple of weeks into the 2024 regular season, early season overreactions are running rampant. The Pittsburgh Pirates have been crushing it lately, headlining a tight NL Central race. Many fans and analysts claim this isn't a fluke despite it being so early in the season. Blind confidence in your team and young, exciting players lighting up highlight reels often lead to a disappointing result. In 2023, that's exactly what happened to the eye patchers that called PNC Park home. The 2023 Pirates started a mouth-watering 20-8, leading the league in almost every offensive category. While it's easy to get wrapped up in an underdog finally putting the cards together, it's difficult to stay grounded and live in reality. The Pittsburgh Pirates had one of the worst records in baseball for the following months, resulting in a fourth-place finish in the NL Central race, 16 games back from the pack leader. The Pirates' early start again in 2024 is filled with optimism, and fans and analysts are skeptical to say they'll stick around for longer than their past summer fling. The overreacting plague isn't left just for flawed franchises like the Pittsburgh Pirates. Just down the road, a team that finished 20 games below 500 lingered, despite being favored to win the division. The St. Louis Cardinals are one of the most storied franchises in baseball, winning the multitudes of World Series championships while being feared across the Midwest. Baseball analyst Hornsby Vargas took to Twitter during spring training of 2023, saying, "This is the best Cardinals lineup top to bottom I've ever seen. Absolutely no holes." It's easy to look back now and laugh at how wrong that take was, but it's a pretty safe bet to assume the Cardinals were going to be good after dominating for years. The Cardinals went on that season to have one of the worst seasons since their conception in 1882. Every fan, analyst, and player love to get things wrong. It's in our DNA as being part of the rude, unforgiving sport of baseball. While we will absolutely be overreacting to our teams this season and many more after, we have to remember striking out is easier to do with a sports take than stepping into the box and swinging it ourselves. So my question for everyone then would be, who are we overreacting on in the baseball world about a month into the season, and who are we underreacting on?
And we'll start with Colin in the fishbowl here.
It's early. We might be overreacting on the Pirates a little bit.
Again.
Yeah, I mean,
I just remember everybody going gaga over them last year. It was so annoying because you knew that they were going to collapse. You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, they're 500, but they're in a division that's really competitive. I mean, at fourth place in the NL Central, they're only 4 games back. So give it time, you know.
You think they're going to go to the bottom there?
It could go either way. It's just this early in the season, looking where they're at, you know. I mean, the Brewers just beat them, you know.
Yeah,
and they
took 2 in the series.
They had a really hot start to the season, too.
How about Gary Sanchez in that series? How about Gary Sanchez today? Man, he just hit a 2-run home run, just absolutely smacked it and got him the dub today.
Yeah. So, hot start to the season. They've been on a skid lately, but I think they'll figure things out. I think they'll end. I think the top 3 is going to end up being the Brewers, Cubs, and Pirates in that NL Central. So I think they'll figure it out.
Interesting.
I do want to say I wrote this about a week ago, and their fall has already happened.
Yeah, they're already starting to collapse
yeah,
a little bit.
They were in first when I wrote this, and I think the last week they're like 1-7.
They
so.
are 13-13 as of right now is their win-loss record. 2-8 in their last 10. Not looking too good. Mason, who are we overreacting on this early into the season? Good or bad?
So I just want to mention, like, I was on, like, the Pirates, like, earlier in the year. I was like, I don't know if it was this show or the Wednesday show that was like, oh, yeah, the Pirates are, like, a surprising team. And I took a victory lap about 2 weeks ago. That is not working. I don't necessarily have, like, one that I want to overreact or underreact to. But, like, looking at the standings, it looks like there's a few, like, really good divisions and everything. Obviously, like, the AL East is really close. Obviously, the NL Central is super close. But if you look at it, the AL West, there's one team above 500.
It's rough.
They're having very rough. Three of their teams are a negative point differential. Even the Athletics are negative 40. Obviously, there's a lot going on with that organization. But it's just definitely interesting to look at, like, these divisions where they are definitely not equal, and you've got this one division that is not even anywhere close to, like, good. It's still competitive, but, like, early on this season, it's not good at all.
Well, and I'd like to piggyback off that is because the AL West was so good last year. Like, the AL West was actually really good. Obviously, they had the World Series champions and the Rangers. The Astros team, which had been competing for a World Series every single year, which I'll get to in a sec. And the Mariners team, which was competing right there for a wild card. And the Angels were okay. I mean, they were not great, but they weren't bad. The Athletics were really the only bad team last year. And this year, I mean, yeah, we're only 26 games into the season. We got, 135 more to go, but still, it is abysmal down there. I mean, the Mariners in first at 13-12. On the flip side of that, I'd like to say that the AL Central is not going to keep up this run that they've had because you got a lot of good teams in there. I mean, the Twins are in fourth at 11-13, which, again, would be enough for third place in the AL West. And the Guardians are 18-7, one of the best records in baseball. I don't think that's going to last. I think that is just purely those teams are kind of overinflating at the beginning of the year, and none of them are really going to have, good seasons. Obviously, the White Sox are a whole different story. But, yeah, 3-22 is unbelievably bad.
They're on pace for 140 losses
It's just,
this season.
yeah, like, unbelievable. How you have 3 wins and you've played 25 games is just beyond me.
How
but
you can mentally accept 140 losses in a season is beyond me.
Yeah, how do you keep going out there and playing baseball?
I don't think
know.
Yeah, dude.
Like, how do you
I'd
wake up and
skip
put that
town.
jersey on?
It would be
I'd
by
skip
far the
town.
most losses
knowing your
ever
team is
if they did
3-22.
it.
Every player on
now.
that team should demand a trade.
Moving on to Zach. Zach, who's your overreaction?
Yeah, so overreactions, I mean, like we've already said, the obvious one is the Pirates. I mean, the same thing happened last year when they
Yeah.
started off really well, and like you said, like the downfall's already starting. So, I mean, that's kind of just the obvious pick. I do think the Mets are they're properly rated. Pete Alonso, obviously, like you said, has been having a great start to the season. I have him on my fantasy baseball team. Happy to have him.
They were underrated at the start of the year when they went like 0-6. Then they got back on track.
Yeah. But two teams I think that we're not talking about enough. A little bit biased, but the Brewers, I mean, no one expected the Brewers to be anywhere near this good, especially with losing all their pitching. They've never been known for, swinging the bats, so I think that was really interesting. But the Houston Astros, to me, are the biggest surprise because they're the bottom of the AL West. They're 7-18 currently. If you are below the Oakland Athletics in standings, you're doing something wrong. And they're just a couple years removed from a World Series win.
But that was going to be my pick for who are we overreacting to. I think we're overreacting the opposite way to the Astros right now. Like, I think the Astros are going to reverse course and be okay eventually. But Verlander is not good right now.
He looked good today.
He looked good
played
today, and that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to get it back on track. I just think that they've had a very rough start to the year. But this is going to be a team, come October, we're going to see in the playoffs again. We're going to have the Astros again competing for a World Series. I really do believe that with as bad as they have started, they will be up there still. But yeah, if you're an Astros fan, it's very concerning right now because you're 7-19. You're the worst team in the worst division. It's very bad. Not the worst team in baseball. White Sox. All right, Danny, what teams are you overreacting to, or do you think that America's overreacting to?
I could talk about this all day. I have so many. I'll go with 2. First of all, I want to talk about the Rangers because, like you said, this division is incredible. The fact that the Angels bought at the deadline last season, and they're the
They're so
fourth,
bad.
like quote unquote, best team in the division. It's incredible that this division isn't talked about as much as the AL East, which it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, the Rangers and the
AL
Astros
East
and
is
the
good.
Mariners, so the Rangers are 13-13. They got off to a slow start. They beat my Cubbies in the first series, which wasn't too fun for me. But they're 13-13. People are like, oh, this division's up for grabs. Maybe the A's, because they've won so many series now, actually have a chance. No, the Rangers are getting back the two actual best pitchers of this generation, in Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom midseason. And they're not playing well right now. They're the best offensive team in baseball, barring the Orioles, barring the Astros when they're playing well, and they have a really good pitching staff in relief. So I think 13-13 is crazy. People are already counting them out not being one of the best teams in the league, which I think they are outside of the Orioles, the Yankees, and then obviously the NL powerhouses and the Braves and the Dodgers. The other team I think people are way overreacting on is the Red Sox. I'm kind of going for like smaller ones here. The Red Sox, this was my take at the beginning of the season. I still stick to it. I think the Red Sox are going to be the worst team in the AL this season. They have absolutely no veteran presence at pitching. They had tons of injuries. All these guys are on prove-it years, and the organization has shown absolutely no drive to go buy anyone at the deadline, sign any long-term players, and they're performing at an incredibly high rate right now, which is not going to last. So those are my takes.
Worst team in the AL is a little bit of a hot take there. I think
like
with
the A's this
with the
year.
White Sox. With the White Sox.
Sorry. I meant to say barring the White Sox.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that right now with where they're at. Again, if anybody likes the White Sox, I'm sorry, but like they know where they're at right now.
I'm going to go with the Mariners. I think that they should be a lot better than they are. They've had a very slow start to the season. They haven't hit well. That one Brewers game that we all went to, he walked 4 people straight.
Yeah, it was not good.
For the game.
The
I sat
walk-off
there
walk.
for
Richard
2.5
was
hours.
To
That-
see a walk-off walk.
Yeah, to see a walk-off walk. That was brutal. They haven't pitched well, obviously. They haven't ran the bases consistently. But I think they're a great defensive team when they're all on, when everybody's doing their thing. What are they, 13-12 right now?
13-12.
Yeah, I think they'll land towards the top, maybe top 5 if they get lucky.
Okay.
Julio's got to get going.
I like that. I think I'm always kind of
Yeah.
pulling for the Mariners, except at the game we went to, just because the Mariners never win anything. Like it's like rooting for the Lions in football.
They should have put me
It's
on
like-
the mound that game.
You think so, huh? You think you'd do a better job?
Pounding
I
his,
think it would have been a more
I'm
exciting
telling you,
ending.
with the
He would've-
condition you
yeah,
were in, you would have gotten rocked.
I would have been taking yard for
You
sure.
would have been walking people because you were throwing the ball straight at their head.
Yeah.
Instead
Les,
of
how
just throwing
fast
it
do you
out of the
think you
strike
could
zone.
throw?
So I don't know if you ever
I
remember,
don't know.
like the
I-
Witch-
95.
Ballpark.
You think 95? Is that?
Yeah, right.
Goodness.
Well, I
I
didn't
think
say it. I
Laz
didn't say
throws
it.
a 52
Maybe if he
mile an
shoots
hour.
it out of a
That's crazy.
cannon.
I don't know. Probably in the 80s. Probably somewhere in the 80s.
We got to get you to a carnival and throw
Yeah.
out one of those pitching
One
things.
pitch and he tears his
Yeah.
elbow.
His
Like,
rotator-
it's just gone.
Rotator cuff is
68.
gone.
It's not that slow.
Instant
Dude.
No, that's slow, dude.
No.
If you
80?
throw 68,
68 is good for like
Yeah,
somebody
I
who
was
hasn't
saying-
like
I
been
was saying
throwing
60,
good.
yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
for an average
Dude,
Joe.
saying he
MLB
can throw an
eighty.
MLB
doing?
position players, like an MLB like second baseman, could probably throw like 70 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah, that's such.
Like I'm
that's
telling
the-
you.
They can throw like 85, 90.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they
They'd
throw like
have to be
85.
good.
I think I could.
Yeah.
I think they can creep into the 80s, but I don't know.
I mean,
used to
I don't
be-
know. If do I get a crow hop? Like, what's going
No,
on?
you don't
Yeah.
get a crow. That's a block.
Give him a crawl. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah,
Fire in there.
I'd like to put this to the test. I don't know.
I got
think,
my Guzman in the
I
car.
haven't. I don't know what my speed ever was, so if I'm like guessing,
got nothing to
I
base it
also
off of.
don't. Yeah, exactly. 80.
How many people have done the carnival game? Because I did it.
I've
when
done
I
it.
was
I've done
like
it.
12,
So I used to get like asked by our baseball coach all the time, "When are you coming out for baseball? When are you coming out for baseball?" I threw like a 40,
that's crazy.
and our baseball team was outstanding.
He
Like,
wanted you to
state
be a
champs.
Dude, I was
Thanasis of the
throwing-
baseball
I was
team.
throwing 40 at like 12. We
The
had,
only days where he won, you asked me about this, was dodgeball, where I was just yeeting balls all over the place, man.
Just absolutely
you
whipping
were.
the balls all over the place.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's insane, man.
All right. But the last team, so besides the Astros that I think we're overreacting to close out this segment, is the Rays. I think that the Rays, look, they are in the best team in baseball, and not a ton of people are overreacting to them right now, I don't think. But I mean, I've seen people say the Rays are like such a bad team. Like, what happened to the Rays after they were so good last year? They're going to be back. They're going to be fine. They're going to compete with the Yankees and the Orioles. I totally agree with Danny. I think the Red Sox and the Blue Jays aren't for real. I think they're going to eventually get back to form where they'll be good, not great. They'll be, kind of middle of the pack at best. I don't know about second to worst team in the AL for the Red Sox, but the Rays, I think, are fine. Again, if you threw them in the AL West, they would be like tied for first right now. So this is just an extremely competitive division. They have so many good players. They have a lot of good veteran pieces. They have players that have been to the playoffs before. I think that this is a Rays team that will be fine and get back up into contention. So there we go. It was the MLB overreactions there. Thank you, Danny, for bringing in that topic. And now the rest of the show is our NFL mock draft. And Mason is foaming at the mouth.
Absolutely. Can I ask a question first? If we do trades, so say like I trade up with a team, do I pick for the team that traded up, or does that person that?
We'll get there. Okay. We'll get there. So
Hold your horses, buddy.
Here's how it's going to work.
Can we do the draft chime, or is that?
Unfortunately, I don't have it loaded in. I think it'd be
Oh, that's fine.
very
because
annoying.
It's right here.
He's already got
It's
it.
Yeah,
right here.
loaded
it's right
up.
here. Don't worry.
Feel free.
I need it.
I
in
can't.
my
I guess I
life.
can't exactly stop you from
Yes.
whatever you throw into the mic.
We can
but
take a vote on it.
I say yes.
I say
Double
yes.
yes.
If we're going for realism,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
I mean,
all
that's
right.
what the thought was, right?
let's get a
All right.
sketch out here to announce the
What's up, brother?
Dude, he tore his Achilles.
The Houston Texans.
sketch tours.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles. Yes.
Breaking news.
Yeah,
What?
he tore his Achilles. Sketch tore his Achilles yesterday.
When Caleb
Doing
Williams
what?
was throwing the
Yeah,
ball.
when Caleb Williams was throwing the ball.
Tore his
Yeah.
Achilles. My God.
That's like the report that's everywhere.
Wow.
That I saw. Yeah.
Yikes.
Caleb
I gotta-
Williams
I
has
gotta
already
make
made
sure
We'll
this is
scratch
the
off the
first.
number one pick for me. I guess we're going back
That's
to
the right
Caleb
one.
Williams.
That's the right one.
All right, so here's how it's going to work. So, again, only a few hours till actual draft time. So everybody is going to have a pick. We're each going to have a pick. It's not going to be like voted on for number one or anything like that. We are each going to vote, or we're each going to have a pick, and that we're going to take. So, for example, the order is I'm 1, Colin is 2, Danny's 3, Zach's 4, Mason 5, Alex 6, and it goes back to me at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you get the order. It's a little mixed up because I thought Colin and Alex were going to be in different spots today, but that's okay. It's okay. We'll make it work. We're smart fellas.
This dude gets 1 and 7, and I get 6 and 12. This is baloney.
Don't play so
This is
good.
baloney.
It's baloney. Hey, these are important picks, okay?
Make
The
some
one,
trades,
the
buddy.
Yeah,
one and
come
the
on,
7,
man.
to be fair, the 1 and the 7 are pretty like set in stone. Like I
Make
don't really
some
have
phone
anything
calls,
to do.
guys.
So, but we are going to be doing trades. So how a trade will work is, let's say the number one pick comes up on the board. I'm the Chicago Bears. I have the number one pick. If anybody wants to trade for the number one pick, and we're going for realism, not what we think teams should do. So don't be like, oh, I have the Packers. I want to trade up for the number one pick. Like,
That's what they should do.
3 seventh-round
That's
picks,
real.
please.
no. So it's going to be, I have the number one pick. If somebody realistically thinks their team is going to trade up for the number one pick, they're going to offer me and say, oh, hey, my team is going to trade for number one. You don't have to like specify what they're going to trade or nothing like that. Oh, I'll give you a second and a fourth or no, not that specific. We are going to do basically where it's the person who has the pick can determine, oh, do I think that's realistically going to happen or do I think that's not realistically going to happen? And if they think it is realistically going to happen, they can trade back. We're going for realism again. And then, Mason, to answer your question, if the person who asks to trade up does trade up, you get to select that pick. So let's say you had the Chargers and you thought you were going to trade up to 1, and you trade up to 1, you get to select that pick, and then I select back at 5. So we are going to go with the team, essentially. We're picking for the team that is in that pick. So everybody on the same page? Are we all ready to go?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Then without further ado, give us our chime.
Beautiful.
All right. The 2024 Hawk Talk Thursday show mock draft is underway. And with the first overall pick, the Chicago Bears are selecting Caleb Williams. This is nobody's surprised here. It's unfortunately that I did not get to get all cheeky and be able to make some funny pick or something or, trade down. The Bears are going with Caleb Williams, set in stone, throw the house on it. Chicago has Caleb Williams.
It doesn't feel the same without everyone booing Roger
Yeah.
Goodell.
Yeah, right? Right?
Dude,
We'll
he had a
get-
surgery. He might not get like the bear hugs.
Yeah, the
Did you guys
hugs.
see that?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
the only reason to like him.
Oh my.
Okay, so Colin then has number 2, and he has the Washington Commanders.
And the pick is in. The Washington Commanders, another team that needs a quarterback. So I'm going to take, in my opinion, the second best available quarterback in this draft, Jaden Daniels. You are a Commander.
That is the definite realistic pick. I mean, if the Commanders don't select Jaden Daniels to the Commanders is almost as set in stone as Caleb Williams is to the Bears. So good pick there. Washington gets Jaden Daniels, gets their guy. And that means we now have Danny at number 3 with the New England Patriots. And this one may be a little more intrigue. There's some talk about trades here, but are they going to hold pat?
Yeah, I was thinking about trading back, but we need our new Tom Brady, and that new Tom Brady is Drake May.
Drake May to the New England Patriots. Again, not much of a surprise there. If the Patriots hold pat, it almost seems definite that they are going to take Drake May. First 3 picks, not really much explaining to do. Those are pretty much set in stone. Now it gets a little more interesting. Now we have, again, possible trades, possible different picks that you can go with. So take a little bit more time to explain why you're going to take your pick. Zach, you have number 4 with the Arizona Cardinals.
There is a trade going on.
There's a trade going on.
Before the pick, there's a trade going on. I will have Mason explain it.
So with the 4th overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings are trading up with the Arizona Cardinals. Probably to get into some specifics, probably around that 3 first-round pick range, just because the 3 quarterbacks are off the board. So Minnesota is trading up. And with that 4th overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings are going to select J.J. McCarthy, quarterback out of Michigan.
Okay, so a trade has gone down. The only important part is, since this is a first-round mock draft, did Minnesota trade their 23rd
Yes.
first? Okay, so the Cardinals now have 11 and 23, meaning that Minnesota has traded up to 4 and select J.J. McCarthy. Okay, that's very interesting because that is, again, a very real possibility. So 4 quarterbacks off the board. Why did Minnesota trade up to get J.J. McCarthy?
I personally think Sam Darnold's an okay quarterback, but all the reports I've seen is that Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa is kind of getting a little bit antsy. They're kind of in a win-now mode, and they need a quarterback that can do well with that system. They've got good receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, good offensive line. They've still got T.J. Hawkinson. Defense improved under Brian Flores last year. My buddy Zach's probably watching this right now, but he doesn't probably want McCarthy. He's more of a Daniels guy, and Daniels isn't here, obviously. So I think McCarthy is a great fit for what Minnesota's trying to do offensively.
Watch out for Minnesota to trade up to 3
Correct.
and get Drake May, because Josh McCown was his quarterback's coach. I'm sure he'd love to have him back there, but J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota, very real possibility, and it happens at number 4 here in the Hawk Talk mock draft, meaning that Mason gets back-to-back picks with that because he now has the Chargers at 5.
There is another trade.
Wow, okay. Really?
The Arizona Cardinals are trading back up to number 5.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yes we are.
What is going on?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so the Chargers give number 5. Does Arizona give 11 and 23? Is that what's going on?
You could do 23 or 27. Which one do you want to do?
23.
23.
Yeah.
11 and 23 are going back to the Chargers. Are going to the Chargers.
Yes.
So Arizona's back in the top. And who do they pick?
Well, this is obviously a no-brainer. This is probably going to be Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay, Marvin Harrison Jr. finally off the board. That I don't think is going to happen. If he's there, I would be shocked if the Chargers did not take him and trade it to Arizona. But you give him those, you never know. You know, I feel like they'd have to throw all 3 number 1s at him to try to get him off of that. But nevertheless, the Hawk Talk mock draft has spoken. Marvin Harrison Jr. off the board, the best receiver, arguably the number 1 prospect, going to Arizona. And that means that we now have Alex at his first pick, the New York Giants. Missed a chime there.
Yeah, come on, man.
Roger Goodell wasn't on it.
The New York Giants are going to select Michael Penix Jr.
Whoa, really?
Whoa.
They
Okay.
need a quarterback, man.
Wow.
You
Why
gonna
is
trade
that
it back?
surprising?
No.
Michael
Why is
Penix
that-
Jr.
Why is that surprising?
Michael Penix Jr. as a top 10 pick is a little crazy. But
I mean, they need a quarterback.
It is
Danny
possible.
Jones, Tommy DeVito, they're not going to get it done. They're not the guys for that job.
that is very, very interesting. Yeah, Penix, I think he's going to be a first-round pick, but number 6, questionable. But you never know. The Giants have made some very, very questionable moves in the past anyways.
I got to do what I got to do.
So you are acting like a Giants GM, and I respect that. Okay, so that means that going to
Crazy.
the Tennessee Titans now at number 7 is going to be Joe Alt. They need offensive line help. Joe Alt is easily the best offensive tackle in this draft. They're going Joe Alt, even if Malik Neighbors and Roma Dunze are there. The only person I think that they would take over Joe Alt is if Marvin Harrison Jr. is somehow still there, which he's not going to be. So Joe Alt is the pick for Tennessee again. I haven't had a lot of fun yet because both my picks were kind of slam dunks here, but that means we're on to Atlanta at number 8, Colin.
Can I get a chime?
Oh, yep. Sorry. Still doing stuff.
With the 8th pick in the 2024 Hawk Talk Thursday NFL Draft.
It's a tongue twister.
Mock draft. It is a bit of a tongue twister. Do not say that 5 times fast. Bad things could happen. The Atlanta Falcons are taking edge Dallas Turner out of Alabama.
Dallas Turner, and he has been mocked to them for like a year now.
Yeah.
Dallas Turner. There is some debate as to like in the past day, they have talked about Byron Murphy possibly going
I
there.
had to decide.
Yeah.
I had to make some tough GM decisions.
If you guys were
But-
the GM there, obviously we know what Colin would do. If you guys were the GM, do you think it's Dallas Turner or do you think it's Byron Murphy? Who do you think they're on?
I think it's a trade down.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I've heard that they are trying to trade down a little
You
bit,
wanted
but
to trade.
I wanted
Why
to
it says
trade
that.
up, and Trent Baalke is on the phone.
I honestly think Jared Verse is also an option too. There, I just think they if they
I don't
are
know about
staying
that.
pat, I think they have to get a defensive player with that pick.
yeah,
The ceiling is so high.
I just feel like Verse is a great guy, is a great prospect, but I just can't see him going top 10. But if they trade back, I think it's a very real possibility. I think Turner's probably the pick here, but it is a little concerning because it always seems to be on draft days. The rumors you see on draft day always seem to be the more correct ones, I will say. If you remember a couple years back, the Texans, I forget who they were on at first, but they were on a prospect for the longest time, and then all of a sudden, day of the draft, Derek Stingley Jr. was suddenly the pick for them, and sure enough, that was it. So I don't know. We'll see what Atlanta decides to do, but Dallas Turner is the 8th pick. And now we got number 9 for Danny.
Well, I was really wanted Joe Alt, so thank you for that. But I'm gonna have to settle and be happy with number 9 pick being Roma Dunze, going to the Bears. Offense.
Dunze over Malik Neighbors staying on the board. And that is a very real possibility, I think. The Bears need more of a longer, speedier type of guy, and a Dunze is like that. Is more of that deep threat that they don't have with Keenan Allen or DJ Moore. So a Dunze going off the board at 9, and that means the New York Jets now have number 10. Zach, who do we got?
Oh,
Nope, they caught the tail end of it.
There it is. There it
Technical
is.
difficulties.
I'm doing multiple. I'm doing 8 million things
He's
at the same time.
multitasking.
See, now I'm very shocked the fact that Malik Neighbors is there, but I mean the Jets don't need Malik Neighbors. Now I think they're going to get Brock Bowers, so I'm taking Brock Bowers with that pick.
All right, Brock Bowers going to the Jets. I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I think if Neighbors is there, they're 100% going with him.
They got Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson though.
They don't got.
They don't got either of them anymore. Mike Williams is gone.
Oh.
The Jets. The
Jets.
Jets.
Oh, the Jets.
He's
yeah.
gonna be
You're
hurt.
talking about the next pick.
Yep,
MetLife is
yep,
going
you're
to
right.
take him game
Prob-
1.
No, probably
Yeah.
yeah.
MetLife.
MetLife.
Or
Bowers
torn.
is great, though. So, I
MetLife's
mean,
great.
Bowers is a great pick. Okay, on to the Chargers then at 11.
So since we're going realistic, I'm not taking Malik Neighbors here. The Chargers are a team that wants to run the football, and out of the last 48 hours, it sounds like they are owning in on Alabama offense tackle J.C. Latham. So that's going to be the pick here at 11.
This is crazy, dude. If he's there, they're taking
he's
Neighbors.
there.
They're
No,
taking Neighbors if he's there.
But
Malik
Okay, you
Neighbors
just
might
want
go
still there.
undrafted.
There's no chance that he goes. There's no chance. All right, that means that pick number 12 is Alex. And Alex, the Las Vegas Raiders would like to extend a trade to you from number 13.
Keep it. Kill it. Go ahead and keep it. Give me Oregon legend Bo. Oh. Give me Oregon legend Bo Nix.
Okay, Bo Nix going out of the first round. That's who Vegas was targeting for.
You got the Broncos.
The division rivals.
He's been in college for 10 years.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Finally ready for the big league.
They have
lost.
been very targeted in on him, and if somehow Penix Jr. goes 6th, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nix go at 12.
I can
I
see them also.
I
trading.
think
genuinely
Denver's a
had to
trade
look
down
up-
They'll
candidate.
trade down.
I had to look up who the current quarterback of Denver is, and
Zach
it's
Wilson.
no, it says Jared Stidham.
It is.
They just traded for Zach
It is
Wilson.
Zach Wilson is their
Oh,
starter,
okay.
probably.
Who in the good God is Jared Stidham?
Former Auburn legend.
He's all.
Yeah,
he's
for real.
all- He's leading them to
Is
a
he
Super Bowl.
good?
No.
Yeah,
Not
Well, then he's not a legend.
I mean, he was decent at Auburn.
You know,
Well, if you're decent,
That,
you're
that
not a
Zach
legend.
Wilson trade is just so bad.
Like, would
that's such
Kobe
a,
Bryant's not
such a
decent.
Broncos-
so we're going realistic based on what's on the board here. Realistically, if the Raiders miss out on Michael Penix Jr. at 13, they're either going corner or Penix Jr. at 13. But for some reason, this guy is still here. So if Malik Neighbors is still here, the Raiders do not have a better number 2 than Neighbors, and they would select Malik Neighbors at 13. So I'm going Malik Neighbors. Their number 1 is obviously Devontae Adams, and then their number 2 is Jacoby Myers. So they're going to take Neighbors. They need receivers still. They don't have anybody great besides Adams. So Malik Neighbors falls to Vegas at 13, and while I don't think that's the most realistic thing that's going to happen, they would take him if he's there, and that is the realistic part. So I also didn't get a chime, and I'm very offended.
Come on, man.
And now this chime is for the number 14 pick,
I'll do it twice.
the New Orleans Saints.
The audio technician for this draft needs to be fired.
Yeah, he's gone.
I can't do
he's
it
gone.
all. I
That's what I
can't
gotta
be,
say
can't
before
be
my pick.
a co-host and audio technician.
You can, though.
Better start learning the XFL, buddy. That's the next draft you're
Learn
doing.
Chinese, bro.
But the New Orleans Saints, they need some help on that O-line. They need an offensive tackle. They're taking, I was told to say his name is Olum, because I don't know how to say his full name, but Olum Fashanu out of Penn State.
Fashanu.
Got a lot of potential, a lot of upside, this guy, and could definitely help the Saints on that O-line.
All right.
Give old Winston some more pass protection.
Winston.
Fashanu going to the New Orleans Saints. That's also Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr's there. James Winston's still there.
He's still there.
He's still there. He's just not the
He's
starter.
going to win the battle.
He's winning the
You
battle.
think so?
Trust.
Okay.
James Winston's
Trust.
the starter, bro.
All right, that means that number 15 is Indianapolis, and it's up to Danny. But before you select Danny, number 19, the Los Angeles Rams, would like to trade up to number 15 for the Indianapolis Colts.
Just be happy with what you got, dude.
Just trying to make something happen here.
What's up with all this nonsense?
I think the Rams are easily trade-up candidates.
You know, I think my guy's going to go before that, and so I'm going to have to decline that trade.
Okay.
Oh, for two,
Um,
huh?
So Colts need a wide
Yes,
receiver.
on the ball.
But I don't think a blue chip receiver is left. So I think they're going to do what they were trying to do with L'Jarius Sneed and get a blue chip corner and get Quinion Mitchell from Toledo.
Quinion Mitchell going off the board to Indianapolis. All right, and that is very realistic. It's either Mitchell or Arnold at corner, whoever's going to go first. And that means that Zach now has pick number 16. Zach, the Rams are going to try and trade that same, offer that
In-division
same
trade?
trade.
In
In
division?
division trade.
Okay.
It's happened before.
Oh,
It happened
yeah,
last draft.
Was I late?
You're early,
I
actually.
will accept
sweet.
that because I think this player will still be there.
You think? Okay.
I think this player will still be there.
All right.
Can't wait for him to take him right here.
He probably will.
So Seattle is trading. We're not going to work out the details, but basically Seattle and the Rams are going. The Rams are going from 19 to 16. Seattle's going from 16 to 19. And with the 16th overall pick, the LA Rams are going to take the guy who is going to replace Aaron Donald, Byron Murphy from the Texas Longhorns. They go up and get their guy against the team who was a potential target. That's why they were trying to trade up with Indianapolis first there. But Byron Murphy going to the LA Rams. And that means that Mason now has Jacksonville at number 17.
When does the chime start? In
Like
IRL?
right before the pick happens. But
Okay, that'll work fine. Okay.
Put it on a
I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
going.
10-hour draft
I
time
told
video.
you it would be
Yeah.
fun for like the first few.
Yeah. So
No, it's fine.
And now
It's
we
fine.
got an audio engineer just pressing buttons.
So Jacksonville tried trading up with the Falcons earlier, and that didn't work apparently. They were also trying to trade up with Chicago, but Chicago had its own thing in mind.
Just put down the phone, buddy.
And
Unplug it.
Me?
I definitely,
Unplug the
me?
phone.
I
It's not even
definitely,
plugged in.
I definitely think that Jacksonville in a few hours is going to be trading up for a receiver. But right here they didn't do so, so I'm going to take the next best receiver available. I'm going to take Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay, Brian Thomas Jr., second receiver taken out of LSU.
You know, it's a little hard to time the music when everybody's just giving backstories. All right, I don't know when we're stopping. I don't know when we're starting.
You got to
doing
be
my
on that
best.
stuff,
I'm doing
man.
my
You got to be
best.
on that stuff.
You know, God forbid I'm also involved in this draft.
You're not.
No,
This
I
was
respect
your
that.
idea.
Yeah.
Here you go.
So
You,
good so far.
your
I'm working
wish,
the kinks.
you
You
wish
can't have
and you
it both
shall
ways.
receive. You get Cincinnati's pick at 18 here. What are you doing, buddy?
Me?
Yep.
It's like, wait, I thought it was an
You.
audio
crazy.
technician.
Just talking about
And y'all just took Byron Murphy.
it. Yep.
Okay. That's tough. That puts me in a tough
They
predicament.
need O-line,
That puts me in a very tough
wide
predicament.
receiver, defensive line.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Brian Thomas.
Okay.
Just picked.
The person that was
He was
picked.
just picked out of,
I thought we just did. See, I'm doing too much. I thought we just did Byron Thomas.
that was right
That's
before
my bad.
that.
I didn't have time to go back to
It's Byron Murphy
Or
and Brian
Byron
Thomas.
Murphy and then Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian
was taken
Thomas,
after.
He
Byron
was
Murphy.
17. Yeah.
Okay.
Same diff.
Jermaine Burton.
Jermaine Burton.
Is that he's still available? Correct.
Yes, he is from Alabama.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
He is indeed available. Jermaine Burton gets taken off the board. What
Too
position
many
is he? I
tabs
don't see it.
Wide receiver.
Jesus.
I have too many tabs.
Why would he be taken there?
One tag.
Yikes. Jermaine Burton.
I gotta
Okay.
get this MLB crap off my screen first.
Yikes. Okay,
This
that
thing's
means
running a little slow. I
let's
got
go
too
back
many
to
tabs.
Seattle at
Bit off more
19
than
here.
you should do
Seattle.
there.
I don't
Seattle at
think he's
19.
Who's getting taken at 19?
Thank you. All right, so at 19, the Seattle Seahawks are going to take Jared Verse. They don't have any help on the D line. They need to select a defender. They can't pick a wide receiver now because they have 3 good wide receivers. So they're going to go Jared Verse to help with the D line.
Latu stays on the board over Jared Verse over him rather. Which means we got the Pittsburgh Steelers now at 20, Colin. What are we doing here?
I know Duke isn't known for football.
Oh
but
yeah.
They just produced a stud that is going to Pittsburgh.
Graham Barton.
Graham Barton.
Oh my.
Yep, that's a good
Do
pick.
I-
think
need I
that's a
say
good-
more
I think
about
that's a
his
good
name?
pick.
No.
I think that overall he is probably the best inside O lineman in this draft, and Pittsburgh
They need
needs
somebody
some
to
help.
go protect Russell Wilson.
They
out
need
there.
some help out there. You're absolutely right. All right,
Do what the Broncos couldn't.
21. We are back over to Danny. Miami
was a little-
Dolphins.
Yeah, I need an interior lineman there, so now I'm a little ill prepared. Let's see. Has Fuaga gone?
He has not.
He is not.
Then that's who I'm going with. Tylese.
Tylese Fuaga, I
Fuaga.
believe, from Oregon State, going
Yeah,
to
it's a cool
Miami.
Tylese Fuaga.
Yeah. All right. So we got an O lineman off the board to Miami, and now we go to Philadelphia. Zach's pick.
Yeah, so Philadelphia, obviously we saw them get absolutely torched at the latter half of the season. James Bradbury just got cooked literally every single game, could not stop the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Chime.
Yep.
I hope this happens at the real draft.
The Philadelphia Eagles are going to
Oh.
take.
I'm trying.
You're good, you're good.
Are you?
They're going to take Cooper DeJean with this
Really?
one.
Oh,
Over Arnold.
Why?
They're taking Cooper DeJean.
Interesting.
you do that?
I
Well,
pressed the
I'm aware
wrong
it's
guy
going
because I
White
slightly.
thought
cornerback.
I thought for sure that you were going to take
Why would you
Arnold.
do that?
White cornerback, man.
Wow. Okay. I have to restart this whole thing.
Good.
Is that why you picked him?
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
He's good.
He is good.
Oh,
No, he's a
why would you
fantastic
do
player.
that? Why didn't you just let them slide 3
All right.
picks, man?
All right. That means that now
Chargers.
we go to the Chargers for one Mason Thompson.
So
Just cut him off.
So they took the tackle earlier that they needed for their right tackle opening. So there's a receiver spot that they desperately need. And while I personally wouldn't take him this high, The league is definitely higher on him than I am. I've seen some stuff saying he's going to go with the 15th pick. The fastest 40-yard dash in NFL history, Xavier Worthy. Come on down to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Wow, interesting. Okay. So that means Xavier Worthy off the board over a couple other prospects that were a little higher up on some big boards, but not necessarily. All right, so then we go to number 24. Alex, you have pick number 24 with the Dallas Cowboys.
I am going with left tab. O-lineman, Christian Hayes.
Okay.
Is that respectable?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a respectable,
Awesome.
respectable
Yeah,
pick.
I knew it was. That's why I
The
picked it.
GM's just calling up other GMs. Like,
Hey, does this work?
Hey, was this
Does
good,
it
dude?
work?
Is that a
Yeah.
good idea?
I have no idea what I'm doing
Well,
right
if
now,
it
dude.
worked,
Is
it
this good?
worked.
Guys, help me out. Help me out.
Dude
Okay.
is searching up his name in the big board.
No, I had
No, I'm not. I'm not
Oh,
picking
okay.
up his name. No, I needed
I had
to.
a thing.
I'm telling you, this mock draft
their names
website
keep
is
being
not
called.
going very good right
Dude,
now.
just
Like
use
it's.
Pro Football Network,
I.
man.
It's too late for that.
It's
Yeah,
too
it's
late. It's too late.
5:45.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling up another tab.
I already have the NFL.
I'm not opening
you
any
pull
other
it up.
tabs.
So number
have it up.
25 it's the Green Bay Packers, and I swear I did not intentionally do this. But the Green Bay Packers pick is relatively easy here.
Do the
This
thing.
guy is not going to be available at this spot, but if for some reason he is, they are 100% going with Terry and Arnold out of Alabama, cornerback. I think that they're probably going to get the other Alabama cornerback, Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's probably a little more realistic.
Dog.
Or Cooper DeJean if he's still there.
Or Amarius Mims.
I don't want Amarius Mims.
I don't want Tyler Guyton, so if you say you want Tyler Guyton, there's going to be some issues.
No, I don't really want an O-lineman first round, to be honest. We always hit on O-lineman later on, so there's really no reason to go grab one. Unless his name is Joe Alt.
We're not getting Joe
Obviously, we're not getting Joe Alt. So
Unless there is a Laramie Tunsil situation.
I would be shocked this late. Okay, now we go to number 26 for Colin. He's got Tampa Bay.
I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They brought back Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans. They're keeping their offensive core. Now what they need to do, they need to strengthen that offensive line. They had their ground game was abysmal last year. They averaged a league low 3.4 yards per carry. And drum roll, please.
There we go.
Out of Oregon,
I was waiting for the yap session to finish up.
Jackson Powers
Jesus.
Johnson is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Jackson Powers Johnson off the board. And that means we move on to number 27 for Danny, his last pick. The first of the last picks here. So number 27, Danny, who do you got for Arizona?
So it is Arizona. I thought there were some trades going on.
Though Arizona had 23 and
we're good.
11, so they traded. So you're still at 27 there.
I can't believe this guy made it this far. It's who Cardinals were mocked early, except they were trading up for him. It is Laelu Latu. Is that how you say his
Yep.
name?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm saying yes. I don't know how to say it.
Laatu Latu. I don't know. Latu.
Cool. So cool names, man. So many cool names.
All right. So Latu off the board at number 27. Zach, your final pick, number 28.
So with the 28th pick, Buffalo Bills are going to take Donai Mitchell, wide receiver
There you
from
go.
Texas. Bills obviously need a playmaker. They traded literally everybody away, and Josh Allen is nobody to throw the ball to. So they're taking the 6'2", 205, 4.34 40-yard dash wide receiver out of Texas.
Denai Mitchell is gone, and he is taken with the Buffalo Bills. Mason, your final pick is the Detroit Lions at number 29. Now we're getting more consistent with it.
So the Detroit Lions have a few needs they could go with.
Figured out the notes.
They could definitely go with an edge rusher or an interior defensive lineman. They did sign DJ Reader in free agency. Their secondary, they've shorted up a little bit in free agency with Kamik Robertson and I'm forgetting the other one. I've actually got their depth chart pulled up. That might be a good idea to look at. Carlton Davis. So I'm not going to go corner here. I'm actually going to go with a guy that's kind of rising up draft boards. He did have a visit with Detroit. He's kind of a tweener between an inside defensive lineman and an edge rusher, so I'm going to go with Darius Robinson from Missouri.
Okay. Darius Robinson off the board to the Lions. And now to Alex's final pick with the Baltimore Ravens here at number 30.
Okay. This whole thing is
Chime?
out of whack. Yeah, I know. Give me a second. There
The Chime.
we go.
Now we're happy.
All right. From Clemson, a junior, Mr. Nate Wiggins
Nate Wiggins going
is
to
a Baltimore Raven.
Okay. Nate Wiggins off the board.
And I just exited out of YouTube. Give me a second.
Baltimore. Oh, jeez.
Give me a
Jeez.
second.
Okay. So that means I have number 31 now. My final pick, the San Francisco 49ers, the runner-ups.
You gotta
In,
give me a second. You gotta,
Wait.
we're going.
Roger Goodell
you
would
got-
like a word with you, Alex.
you gotta give it a
Roger
second.
Goodell's furious.
There it is.
Or like Roger
Here it is.
Badell.
It's going to be an ad.
I swear. For a 6-second video, I'm gonna be livid.
Could be a Grubhub ad.
Is Mims on the board still?
Yes, he is.
And we're going to Amarius Mims then at number 31.
Just
San
in
Francisco's looking for linemen. It's Amarius Mims or it is Guyton out of Oklahoma. They're going with one of them, or they're trading back. So one of the three options. But if he's still there, I think Mims is taken there by the Niners, and Colin gets the honors of the last pick, drafting for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Thank you.
Yep.
You've
Is
done
that
a
the
great
last
job
one?
today, by the way.
Dude,
know
I
you've
tried.
got- I know
I
you've had a lot
tried.
of flack.
I
but you
tried.
put the work in.
Thank you. I appreciate
Good
it.
job.
He came
Now
up
this
with
is
the
it.
idea.
Definitely did it 32 times. If
I think you missed a couple.
no, because I ran it back
Oh,
twice
yeah,
in a
yeah,
row.
you made it
Remember?
up.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the
Um,
footage.
Now this is a team that obviously has won 3 Super Bowls in the last however many years. It's a dynasty.
5.
I don't believe this guy's been taken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky
Is not.
You're good.
is
He's
a
not been taken.
Kansas City Chief. He is now a future 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Okay, and that completes our Hawk Talk mock draft. Again, my mock draft software closed out while I was doing this, so I'm trying to update it by memory here, and I'll get the remaining picks that I don't remember from you guys again. But before we start final thoughts here, got a few minutes. Talk about what went right, what went wrong in this mock draft here. What do we think we hit the nail on the head, and what do we think is absolutely 100% not going to happen? Starting with Alex.
I think we got a little too in depth for my liking. I did as much research as one man can in a couple hour window.
To be fair,
know.
Sure you did.
To be fair, there is it doesn't matter how much you research. There's
Yeah.
5 different picks any team can do that's outside of the top 4 basically. So you did the best with what you were
Yeah,
given.
exactly.
You were more
Exactly.
concerned.
Many
You were more
hats for
concerned
this
on getting the
draft.
chime. You know,
Right.
I feel like you
Right.
did both things all
That's
right.
one thing my team has that nobody else's has, and it's
It's a
swagger.
chime.
It's swagger.
Swagger.
It's swagger.
Swagger. Who did Atlanta trade with again?
And chimes.
Atlanta did not trade. They took Dallas.
At
We
8?
picked up the phone.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We
You're right.
said no.
Yeah,
We
they
put it back
said
down.
no thank you.
You are right. You are right.
Picked up the phone. I said, Put it back down.
Okay, so on to Danny. Danny, again, thank you for joining us here
it's
today.
fun.
Appreciate it,
Thanks
you
for
being
having
on. What do you think went right about this draft? And what do you think went wrong?
think
Because there
what-
was a lot.
I think, can I do 2 things?
Yeah,
Quick 2 things.
absolutely. Go right ahead.
I think Laz taking
it is.
Penix at
Yep.
6 was a little premature. He is shooting up in the draft boards from what I've
Let's
heard.
grow
Not
up.
that much.
Let's grow up here.
Not to 6, but I also
Get
think
realistic.
it is a little goofy saying Neighbors, is going to fall that far. And also no edge rushers outside of Dallas Turner in the top 20 to 26, because we didn't even say Jared Verse. I feel like that's probably not
19.
going to happen.
He got drafted at
Oh,
19.
did he?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. He
Oh,
got
then I
taken.
wasn't paying attention. Okay.
See,
Never mind then.
it's easier than it seems to miss one.
It's easier than it seems. Oh, to miss one. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Not the
just
draft.
did
that
it.
Was,
Yeah,
that was
okay.
harder than it seemed.
All right. Zach, what do you think went right and wrong here?
First of all, I want to shout out Laz for doing the chime.
Thank you.
very much.
Dude, thank
you
It
so
was
much.
So in depth, I loved it.
I appreciate
This guy.
Thank you. For me, it was round of applause real quick.
it. Guys.
Almost like it's his birthday.
For me, it was Malik Neighbors. I don't think there's no way that Malik Neighbors is falling that far. I think if he gets out of
Yeah.
top 5 range, I think he's going to the Bears at 9.
Yep.
Pairing him up with Caleb Williams. I think that's going to be a lethal duo, especially with already having DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. I think that's going to be just awesome. I think the Bears could actually win, a couple games for once.
A couple.
I know,
Wow.
bold prediction, but Malik Neighbors is definitely
Shots
something. I did.
fired.
So I think one thing that I definitely realized like midway through is looking at the 32 selected, Troy Fatanu is not one of them, and I know that there are some injury concerns with the Washington offensive lineman that can play any position on the offensive line. I kind of think he's probably going to be a Seahawk, honestly. But it was just definitely interesting to see like how guys like Amarius Mims, kind of the offensive line fall a little bit, specifically Mims, when there's probably going to be 9 or 10 drafted tonight.
You're absolutely right. Did the Jaguars take Verse in our draft?
No, they took Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. Okay, that's right. Colin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of beat this horse already, but I think
Boy.
Malik Neighbors definitely is going to go higher than he went in our draft. He's too good of a prospect to fall to wherever he fell in
He
this draft.
fell,
Yeah,
he
me
fell
too.
to
I agree.
13 with the
13.
Raiders.
Yep, 13.
Yeah, he's going top 10 for sure.
Correct.
Yep,
That
100%.
is why the Jaguars.
This is
drafted
why
him.
we're not NFL GMs.
Right.
Remind me,
Except for
especially this
Mason
guy.
over here, who actually is
Remind
an
me
NFL
who
GM.
who the
Give it a
Bengals
rest.
They
took.
took Jermaine Burton.
That's right. That's right. So things I think are not going to happen. I don't think the Bengals are probably going to draft Jermaine Burton at 18. No offense. No
I don't know.
offense.
Yeah, maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Who's to
I
say?
If they're drafting a receiver, there was probably so many better ones right there that they probably would have gone with.
Call me
Like
Joe Namath, but I am guaranteeing they do not take Jermaine Burton.
Mitchell. Yeah, I would bet the house on that one, but
This guy will bet on anything.
I don't know what
I
you're
was gonna wait
talking
till we got
about.
off here to make that joke.
But yeah, I mean, again, Penix is not going to go 6. I think Penix is going to go high, I think
a
he's
Raider.
going to go in this draft. He's going to go to the Raiders. However,
Just got a good feeling,
I have a feeling
It's just a
that
gut feeling.
I have a feeling that Michael Penix Jr. or that Bo Nix is going to go before Michael Penix Jr. because
Oh,
I don't.
no.
Yes, because I don't think the Raiders are taking him. I don't think the Raiders are taking him at 13. I think they're going to trade up into the end of the first round to go
I
back and get
agree,
him.
And Denver's going to take
And
Nix.
Denver's going to trade back from 12, and they will get Bo Nix because they love Bo Nix
I
for
literally
whatever
have-
reason.
I literally have Pittsburgh
It's a
trading
Broncos
up.
quarterback.
Yeah, I literally have
It's such a
Pittsburgh
good
trading up with Denver and Denver taking him at 20.
I really think that the Rams are going to trade up and go get Byron Murphy. I think that, which is what I was trying to simulate a little bit. I think it'll be even higher than 16. I have them trading up in my mock draft to 12 with the Broncos because, again, Byron Murphy is a guy who, if he slips past Atlanta, because with how much noise that there's for him to go to Atlanta right now, he could easily be the second defensive guy taken. So
we have some news along the Twitter sphere. New England is
Twitter
working
sphere.
on a trade with Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, okay. So the Bengals would jump up to 3 then? Is that what's going on?
Ayuk.
Oh, okay. So
It's from Nick Cattles, who is not followed by anybody that I know. So
the
it's a
Niners,
Boston guy.
the
so.
Niners are not. That's not going to happen.
Paulie Parcheesi.
Who would they give up for him? You know,
Parcheesi bomb.
Well, New England needs a quarterback.
There's a lot of New England stuff right now. Like Pelissero just reported that they're sticking and taking. The belief is that they're taking May.
I think. Yeah, I just don't think. I
Which-
think the only team that could possibly trade up to go get May would be the Giants.
Minnesota.
or the Vikings.
I think Minnesota's set on McCarthy.
The only issue is that they. Yeah.
I know that, you know, with Josh McCown there, they want him. I just don't think that they have enough capital to go get there.
They don't have any day 2 picks. They would have to give up both first and then the first next year.
Right, exactly. So I don't think that they're okay with getting McCarthy, and I think that they can get away with getting both first rounders up for like number 5 and going to get McCarthy. But any final thoughts that are not draft related here as we end our penultimate Thursday show?
Yeah, I can't wait for the Lakers to beat the Nuggets at home by 37 points tonight.
I'm sick of the Lakers.
Bet the house on it.
Jamal Murray. Jamal.
Yeah, don't like that guy.
No!
It's like
All right.
sunlight on a vampire there. Say that name.
It has been a great show. Thank you all again for the birthday wishes. Thank you, Danny, for being here.
Happy birthday, Nolan.
Thank you. And it has been a great show. And we will see you for our final Thursday edition next week. Thank you for watching on 91.7 The Edge, WSCW Whitewater, and on UWW TV.